Okay, so this is supposed to be an introduction to using Visual Studio Code. So for starters, what would you want to do when using VS Code for the very first time? You would want to download it, install it. Um, so while searching for VS Code on Google, and we see the site. Um, when opening the site, you would see the installing packages based on the operating system that you're using. I'm using a Linux operating system, so I'm seeing the two possible options that I have. If you're using a Windows, you would see the packages for Windows, same as Mac. But in this case, I already have VS Code installed. So what is it I want to do? Let me open it fresh. I can as well choose to search for VS Code and hit enter. But once again, this is like your first time, so let's really take it from the very basics. So I'm going to create a new window, an empty window of VS Code. So you see what a fresh page should look like. So when you open VS Code for the first time, this is what you're going to be seeing. It shows you don't have any open folders yet. We'll go into that a bit later into this video. And you have all these options and these very crazy icons that are like, oh my god, what's all this? So let's go over them one by one. When using VS Code, you're working with files, you're working with folders, so it is only normal that the file option is here. Here, you can create a new text file, a new window, that's a new instance of VS Code. You can open a file, open a folder, and many other things. Same as editing. While you're already into the development process, you can choose to undo, redo, but basic stuff, selection as well, view, and so on and so forth. So that is really what this panel over here is for. This section over here is called the Explorer. This is where you'll be able to interact with the file directory of your project folder. So what is a project folder? Now, a project folder is, let's take it as a pot where you are storing all your cooked food inside. When you want to prepare a meal, you are to find a container that would have all the ingredients or the food stuff inside. So a project folder serves as that pot. That's where all your files are going to be inside, or your images, your code. Everything's going to be stored in your project folder. And the fact that I'm calling it a project folder doesn't make it any different from a regular folder. So I'll just delete this. So what exactly is a project folder? A project folder is simply a folder you created that stores the project that you want to do. And we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to create a new folder by right clicking. When you right click, you see create a new folder. On Windows, I think the first thing you see is new before new folder. So when I click on a new folder, I have this option to name the folder, and I would want to name it my first project. Now, how do I get this folder into VS Code? I've seen this option here, open new folder. So I'm going to click on it, and then I have this window pop up. It's like, oh, what folder exactly do you want to open? I'm like, okay, I created the folder in my desktop tab. It's not in my home, it's in my desktop. Let me look for my first project. Okay, yeah, here it is. So when I click on it and I'm like, okay, VS Code, you can choose to open this project folder. Now it opens a new window and it says, okay, bro, this is the busy project folder that you opened. I'm like, okay, yes, I've done something. Now I have access to the directory. Now I can add or remove or delete, modify any file that I want to create, any file that I want to, sorry. So why is this very important? I will show you why. So let's go back to our home screen and open this folder normally. So we have this, a very blank folder, and on VS Code as well, we have this, a very blank project. If I choose to manually create a new document, let me say isaac.html, I see automatically here that there's a new folder created on VS Code. Oh, that's nice. Let me copy and paste again. I see it has been created again. I see it has been created again. Okay. So I would, let me create a new document that says not isaac.html. It says okay, yeah, it's also created. So what does this mean? VS Code has access to the folder that we're working with. But I'm not using my normal file extract. I'm using VS Code. So how do I create a file with VS Code? The icon beside my first project, there are four. There is new file, This is why I can actually create a file. So the file I'm going to be creating is index.html. I'll rename that index.html. Now, when I go to my file explorer, I see that okay, yes, there's actually an index.html being created. So that is really the whole essence of creating a project folder and opening it with VS Code. Now here I can write my code. This is going to be a basic HTML code since we're not going into the actual coding yet. Yeah, so I'm going to write basic HTML code. Um, H1. Um, you okay? Now I can close. I'm done. My this is the only thing I want to write. I'm done with using VS Code. I can now choose to open my project folder and open the HTML file where it will open on the browser, and I see my very first site. So this has been introduction into VS Code. If you have any issues, be sure to go back to the video and try all the instructions step by step. Thank you very much.